New cards, PogChamp, new cards, PogChamp. We got an unbelievable amount of new cards on this fine Tuesday morning, and we're beginning with this one, Reborn the Monster, with Spell Card Monster Reborn. If Monster Reborn is so good, where's Monster Reborn 2? Okay, so this one is a quick play. You can only activate one card with this card's name per turn. Target a monster in either graveyard, special summon it to your field, but it cannot attack or activate its effects this turn.
That was wrong.
Okay, so like it's not good, first of all. Clearly. We have Monster Reborn legal, and that does more than this. There are some corner case scenarios in which you'd want this over Monster Reborn, like theoretically, if your opponent goes to reborn something, this is kind of called by the grave. And I guess you could argue that it's like a type of interaction against your opponent that has application going first, right? Like you can use it to get extension out of the graveyard so that you can play a little bit. But on your opponent's turn, it's like a DD Crow, but a little bit better. It's hard to say. I do appreciate that they're printing cards like this that are like kind of modular, but it's not fantastic. It's certainly, I don't think, going to see consistent play. I'm willing to be very wrong about this, but to me, it is much worse than Called By, obviously. I think it's much worse than Crossout, especially in the format we're about to enter. I think there are scenarios in which you will want this over something like DD Crow, but I don't think we're in that position. I don't see it happening. I do not think this card is going to see consistent play at the moment. Next up. Step into the forest of Rika. Oh. Okay, so if you're unfamiliar, I guess we're just doing Tri-Brigade again. The concept here is like they decided that there was another 3 of series of monsters that's pretty bad. Reptile, Pyro, and Sea Serpent. And then they elected not to make this Reptile, Pyro, and Sea Serpent. It's Reptile and Zombie and Plant, which is awesome. It's super cool. Insect, not Zombie? Why did I think it was Zombie? I was going to say, Insect is really strong. Okay, well, that makes sense then, because Insect and Plant usually go together. But why is Reptile in there? Reptile usually goes with Pyro and Sea Serpent. I don't know. Whatever. I mean, I don't give a fuck about any of these typings, so it can be nice that they finally have something interesting to do. Someone on Twitter said zombie in early spoilers. Oh, well, I was excited to talk about Unizombie applications, so I guess I won't do that now. All right. So before I get into this, I want to say that all 3 of those typings have incredible stuff at their disposal. You know, we forget that Diabolantis the Menacing Mantis exists. You know, these people have a Dragon Ruler in Bigram. Ogdoadic puts 15 reptiles in the graveyard. I played against Ogdo at locals this week. There's this guy at my locals who plays like Horus Ogdo. He has played it every week for like months, and we've matched up like 2 or 3 times, and every time we match up, I beat him in like the smashiest 2-0 ever. And he keeps being like, one of these days, I'm going to like win a die roll or like open playable and you won't, and I'll get to show you what the deck did. And he did. Finally, it happened. It was a 2-1 instead of a 2-0. And the game that he won, he made like 4 rank 8s. And I was like, oh, that's cool. I'm glad there will be something for him to do now. Okay. Rika can be read as Budding Calamity. The theme is aggressively Japanese. What the fuck? The theme is aggressively Japanese. What does that mean? So to preserve the feel, we kept the names in Japanese. Oh, thank you. Similar to how spirit monsters have been done in the past. Okay. Rika no Marikobe. First off, let me be the first to say, this guy looks very cool. You can special summon with the first effect of this card's name once per turn. You can only use the second effect of this card's name once per turn. You can special summon this card by sending one insect, plant, or reptile monster from your hand to the graveyard. If this card is normally special, add up to 2 Rika cards with different names that are banished or in your deck. Whoa! Then banish a Rika card from your hand, and you're locked into Tri-type. This card's incredible. Also, Ballhead. I see why they weren't translating this one. Rika no Yazahu Kamikiri. That is an arrowneck longhorn beetle, but it's actually a wordplay on Yazazukiri, a phrase meaning cutting something so fast the enemy don't even notice it. In particular, Brook of One Piece has a special... Oh my god. It's so aggressively Japanese. Have you guys heard of One Piece? You can only special summon with the first effect of this card's name once per turn. You can only use the second effect of this card's name once per turn. You can only special summon this card from your hand by placing one of your banished insect, plant, or reptile monsters on the bottom of the deck. Okay, so you're meant to summon this by putting back the card that you banish for Ballhead. If this card is sent to the graveyard as material for the link summon of a Rika monster, you can target one level 4 or lower insect, plant, or reptile and special it in a defense position. Wow, that's crazy. That means that if you get Ballhead and him out and then you link them off, you can then special back the monster that you sent for Ballhead. What are we going to call this guy? It's going to... Okay, it said a cut so fast you didn't even notice it. What would that be? Like, they're going to call him like Ultra Beetle, the Unknown Blade, or something super lame. Fast Bug? Oh, Nothing Personnel. Oh yeah, he's the Nothing Personnel kid. Okay, next up we have Rika no Yorori Tokage equals Armored Lizard, written as Armored Stone Dragon. All right, this should be easy. This one will be called Armored Lizard Rika. You can only special summon with the first effect of this card's name once per turn. You can only use the second effect of this card's name once per turn. Special this card from your hand by banishing an insect, plant, or reptile from your graveyard. Discard an insect, plant, or reptile. Target a face-up monster your opponent controls. Return it to the hand. I don't know. It's fine. It's one of those, like... Insects have like 45 cards like this that are like, banish a card from your graveyard, special summon this card from your hand. And it's one of those, and it's fine as one of those. It's probably better than a lot of them because it can theoretically do something to your opponent. And it's the name, so I imagine you'll probably play it, but Next up. Raika no Musha Dokuro. Okay, I see why they thought zombie was one of the 3 types. This apparently means warrior skeleton. You can only use the first or second effects of this card's name once per turn. You cannot special summon monsters except insect, plants, and reptiles. Target a Rika in your graveyard, special it in defense. Okay, so already we have a problem. Because you may notice that if you lead ball, you can go ball, search the insect, summon the insect, link off for this guy, summon back the material that you sent off ball, and then special back one of the monsters used for its link material in defense. If this card is in your graveyard, you can target an insect, plant, or reptile you control, place it on the bottom of the deck, and if you do, special summon this card. Jesus Christ! And it just is like, okay, I'm going to convert a 1 into a 2. So we do have our 1 card link for. Do we have the link for? This is Rika no Ukaminushi, a wordplay on Ukamikiri, a type of longhorned beetle, and Ukunushi no Kami, one of the most important Shinto kami of Japanese mythology. They're going to name this, like, Big Beetle. You can banish 2 insect, plant, or reptile monsters from your graveyard, add a trap from your deck to your hand. Importantly, you will have those because of the setup combo. If this card is in your graveyard, put it on the bottom of the deck special. Oh my god, he reborns too! This is like Infinity Link material. They were like, we are never going to print a good insect, plant, or reptile monster. Jesus Christ. And speaking of, here's the good insect, plant, or reptile monster. So this one is the reptile. If your opponent activates a monster effect, whoa! You can make both players unable to activate monster effects in hand for the rest of the turn. This is weird. It, like, insulates against hand traps, but it insulates against the second hand trap that's not imperm at the point where you get to the link for. That's funny. And then if this card is in your graveyard, you can target an insect plant. Oh my god, it also special summons itself. Wow. That's something. And then finally, Raika no Dioga. Wordplay on ogre. They're going to call this guy Raika Giant. Like giant, but giant. Do you think the OCG does this for TCG exclusives? They're like, we're not going to translate this one. It is aggressively American. Spiral is a portmanteau of spies, like America's James Bond, and spiral, like America's, I don't know, Calliope Juju. I don't really. For goatee, they just gave up. All right, so this one is an internet meme. If this card is in your graveyard, if this monster is special summoned to from your opponent's deck or extra deck, you can destroy 2 monsters on the field. That's good. If this card is in your graveyard, oh wow, you get to special summon it. Okay, so like, here's the problem we're currently in. All these cards jump into each other really well, and they can all come back. Like, you are expected to end your turn, I think, with the 5, the 4, the 3, and the 2 all at the same time. So you can prevent your opponent from special summoning once, basically. You can prevent them from activating cards in the hand. And you'll have access to the trap. But that is not yet enough. Okay, let's read these. Oh! We got 3 head balls. Add a Raika from your deck to your hand, then discard a card. Wow! That's insane. Special summon a Raika monster that is banished or in your hand or graveyard in defense position. What if Tanky was Monster Reborn if you already had the Tanky target? That's pretty good. And then the trap. So the trap you get on the way to the 5. So you'll play the trap probably. Oh! It's just fucking Ritual Beast Steeds. Oh! Oh, it's Steeds. Alright, this deck is sick. So, if I'm reading this correctly, what you get to do is you lead ball, you grab this guy, summon this guy, ball. You go for this guy, you've got 4 link material. This guy and 1 for this guy. Bring back this guy using the other piece of link material. This guy and 1 for this guy. Bring back this guy using another piece of link material. This guy and the 1, is this a 2-mat? It is, which you don't need otherwise. So you go him and the 4 and the 3 all on field at the same time with the trap set. And that is off of this. Or the spell. Wow. These seem pretty good. And what's weird to me is that they don't ever lock into their own archetype. They lock into the tri-type. So theoretically, you can splash this engine in Ogdo, in Rika, in a hypothetical insect deck that nobody plays because there's not any good insects. I guess what, like fucking trap tricks? Yeah, wow. This is very strong. Serpentine Princess. If this face-up card is returned from the field to your deck, which it will be, select and summon a level 3 or lower monster from your deck to your side of the field and shuffle your deck. And you know what you can get under the lock? Lonefire Blossom. That's funny. That is really funny. I don't think this card is going to see a lot of play. I think people trying to buy it out are a little misguided, but this is, wow, this is really good. And you know what's funny? This is a reptile archetype that actually does not need Snake Rain. Like, Snake Rain does not drastically improve this even a little. Oh, who is woofing? It's got to be Sadie, right? Watch the combo. Where's the combo? Oh, does Lithium have one? Sadie!
Yo, what's up guys, welcome back. So, new archetype was revealed earlier this morning. And, the monster from your field back to the deck. That includes extra deck monsters, so you can just send them back to the extra deck, or the bottom of the deck. And then
so we're
you can
playing
just
Snake Rain because this is Ogdo.
4, 5, 3, whatever. So there's a couple of 1.5 and 2 card combos featuring your preferred end board. This is the board that I'm working towards, two featuring the Ogdo-like cards. The first one being Snake Rain. Again, I mean, this is a 1.5 card combo. Problem is that Snake Rain.
Oh, we are playing Serpentine.
So what is your plan? What is the plan? I think that the most important one is the curse one, the level 8, and this is not new, as you know, Ogdo also have a token generator, so send at level 8 to the graveyard, special summon 4 tokens, and those tokens can be used to link up, again, Tri-Brigade or Mikasa at one way, very similar to that. And eventually, the way to get the ball rolling or get your engine going featuring your Raikas is because of Serpentine Princess, I believe. It's a super old school card, which is set from your field.
Oh god, and you can go Dryer Entieri. Yeah, that's insane. That's unbelievable.
That was wrong.
Yeah, these look good. Next up. All right. Maze of Memories. Flame Swordsman cards. Wrong. Okay. Fighting Flame Swordsman. If this card is normal or special summoned, you could add a spell trap that mentions Flame Swordsman from your deck to your hand. If this card is sent to the graveyard, you can send a Flame Swordsman from your deck to the graveyard. Fighting Flame Dragon. Except during the damage step, target a warrior fusion monster you control. Equip this card from your field or graveyard to that card as an equip spell. While this card is equipped to a Flame Swordsman or a monster that mentions it, the equipped monster gains 700 attack and can make a second attack during each battle phase. All right. Let's keep going. Salamandra, the Flying Flame Dragon. While this card is equipped to a... Okay, so Salamandra is like the dragon. Okay, I get it. I'm in. While this card is equipped to a Flame Swordsman or a monster that mentions that the equipped monster gains 700 attack over hand or graveyard, target a warrior you control. Equip this card to a monster you control as an equipped spell. If this card is sent to the graveyard, add a Salamandra spell trap from your deck to your hand. Okay. Mirage Knight Retrain. Okay. If a face-up fire fusion monster you control is destroyed by battle or card effect, specialist card from your graveyard or hand. Start of the damage step. If this card battles an opponent's monster, you can destroy both. This card is destroyed by a battle or another card's effect. Special summon to level 7 or lower. Monster that is Flame Swordsman or mentions Flame Swordsman. I hate that we're doing archetypes like this now. What it mentions it. That's the same as an archetype, right? Ultimate Flame Swordsman. You can target a monster your opponent controls, destroy it, and if you do, inflict 500 damage to your opponent. This is a quick effect if this card isn't equipped with an equip card at the start of the damage step. If this card battles, you can double this card's attack until the end of the turn, but if you do, destroy it during the end phase of this turn. Fighting Flame Dragon, we already did. Flame Swordsman Realm, your opponent can activate cards effects when you normal summon a fire warrior monster. Jesus. Once per turn, you can send a monster from your hand or face of field to the graveyard to special summon a Flame Swordsman from your extra deck. This is a fusion summon. Once per turn, when a monster declares an attack, you can target a warrior you control until the end of this turn. It loses 1,000, and monsters you control gain 1,000. Salamandra Fusion, another broken fusion card. Let's see how this works. Equipped to a Fire Warrior, it gains 700 attack. If it would be destroyed by battle or card effect, destroy this instead. While it's equipped to a fusion monster you control, send this card and the equipped card to the graveyard to special summon a fusion monster that mentions it from your extra deck. And finally, Fighting Flame Sword. Add a card from your deck to your hand that mentions Flame Swordsman or Fighting Flame Sword. When an attack is declared involving a Fire Warrior monster you control, target a card on the field, destroy it. When your opponent activates a card or effect that targets a Flame Swordsman or a monster that mentions it, negate that effect. And Salamander with Chain. Target a fire monster on the field. Equip this card to it as an equipped card that gains 700. Then change an effect monster on the field to face down defense. Banish this card from your graveyard to fusion summon a Fire Warrior or Dragon Fusion monster from your extra deck by shuffling its materials from your hand, field, or graveyard into the deck, but destroy it during the end phase. Flame Sword's Dance. If the monster is special summon a level 7 or lower fusion monster from your extra deck that is Flame Swordsman or mentions it. Change one face-up monster on the field to face down defense position. Why are all these cards doing that? During your opponent's battle phase, banish this and tribute a face down defense position monster. Special summon a Flame Swordsman from your deck or extra deck. I was... You don't get it, Chet. I was very excited to write these off. But I think there might be something here. Right? Like, the thing that's giving me pause is this guy. Ultimate Flame Swordsman is clearly like a really good card. Yeah, Peeps, go ahead. And he doesn't seem that difficult to get out. It kind of sucks that you got to go through the fusion first. So... Yo.
So, the thing that I was doing when I was looking at these cards yesterday is I was like, all right, it is very easy to say it's a TCG exclusive archetype and it's a DM retrain archetype. So, that is not good from the start.
Yeah.
Like, we're off to a bad start there. And a lot of people are being like cynical about these cards because it's like you think that you have a DM retrain archetype and then you have the fact that it's TCG exclusive. You can pretty much just write it off right there is what people are thinking. But I looked at these and I was doing some builds, doing some test hands, just kind of thinking about what the deck, and even as pure, the deck has many one-card combos to get to the big fusion guy. And then the big fusion guy just kills your opponent. Like, so turn one, you make the big fusion.
What's the one card? You go Flame Swords Realm.
You go Fighting Flame, add Swords Realm. Swords Realm effect, send Fighting Flame to summon Flame Swordsman. Fighting Flame effect in the grave, send a Salamander level 2. The Salamander 2 adds the equip spell. Equip the equip spell to the Flame Swordsman. Use the equip spell effect to make Ultimate Flame Swordsman. And that's just the one card if you don't have any of the other support. The other thing to notice about these cards is that the trap cards are the best normal trap cards that have ever been made. There's not a better normal trap card than those cards. They are insane.
So the thing that's giving me pause about the trap cards.
Sure.
Firstly, is that they're not the best normal trap cards that have ever been made. I mean,
you're wrong. They are non-once per turn, non-targeting.
You get hard looking at what's it called? A Maze Attraction Whorehouse, right?
There has never been a searchable normal trap that not only interrupts your opponent, but non-targeting interrupts cards that's non-once per turn. That just doesn't exist. Like the closest thing you can think of, it's not, Daruma Cannon is not really searchable, except for the last.
Well, no, you're right.
In archetype, but Daruma Karma Cannon doesn't like extend, right? Like Swords Dance books a card and then summons from extra deck. Like the
Swords
closest
Dance
thing I
is
can think of to that
Swords Dance is kind of
is
weird though, because it puts your opponent in a position where, like, I imagine you're searching Swords Dance, right?
yeah. You can search Swords Dance with Fighting Flame if you already have like the continuous spell.
So simply don't
You know.
special summon.
Oh, that's true. That's how you beat Maxi too. That's why Maxi's fair. I forgot. But the other thing about that is like, you know, it's not just when your opponent special summons. Like when you special summon, you can trigger your own Swords Dance. The cool thing about this is like if you play it pure, and that's what I was doing. I was trying to build it pure yesterday, and you have, I think it's 18 spots for non-engine. Like,
Okay.
you have the like a shit ton of cards that get you into the one card, which is super consistent because all you need is access to Fighting Flame, and then you just
Peeps.
make Ultimate Flame Swordsman, which is a Dryden, and then you have like 15 to 20 spots for non-engine, which is crazy.
You can't just be like, oh man. And the deck, you got 18 spots for non-engine. It's like, yeah, dog, there's like 3 playables.
Oh, there's like a, well, not really. I mean, even if you like, the starter is Ultimate
Chad
Flame.
is saying you can play it with Fire King, which would be a
You
very good place to be. But
yeah, you can do it with Fire King.
I don't see how that works. I don't get the synergy. Like, I think these cards, they don't lock you, right? And they're fire, which is neat. But I don't see why you would play them with Fire King, right?
Vlad was cooking something up with it. Vlad was working on it with Fire King. He's already figured something out with it. I would play it. I am going to play it pure.
Because
I don't know. I feel like the problem with playing it pure is the combo you're describing. I mean, it's got pretty fragile points of interaction, right? It feels like so much of your deck's power is concentrated in this card, the Salamandra Fusion, that I would feel a little hesitant.
Well, okay, so I guess I'm trying to figure. I think the only point of interaction that's like a big red flag is like Droll, but there are cheeky things you can do to play. Yeah, it's Droll, you know, and there is some cheeky stuff you can do with it, like you can normal Fighting Flame. First of all, if you have the continuous spell, when you normal Fighting Flame, that beats a lot of interaction anyway. Like, I think people are missing the fact that the continuous spell just has the text on it, where your opponent just can't respond to your shit when you normal the level 4. And I actually can't remember if I have the continuous spell and I normal Fighting Flame and add a card, can they respond with Droll at that point? Because your opponent can't activate cards or effects when you normal summon.
So the thing they can't respond to is they can't ash the activation of the.
Okay.
But Droll,
that's still good.
Meets its condition on resolution. Yeah.
So what you would do, there's like a cheeky thing where you could do where you can like normal the Fighting Flame and you can add the Quick Play spell, and then they have a chance to Droll there. But if they're smart, they just hold the Droll for what you add off the Quick Play spell. But basically, it's just Droll, right? Droll is the problem that sucks. So I was thinking of playing like Droplet, right? Because if you're going second, in order to do the OTK to set up the big fusion, you need to add twice, right? Because you need to, or in order to establish the fusion, you add twice. You add off of Fighting Flame, and then you add off the level 2 that gets sent to the grave. So if you play Droplet, you normal the Fighting Flame, you add the first card, and then with turn player priority, you Droplet send a monster, so they can't respond with Droll, and that saves you from Droll with the first ad when you're going for game, right?
You are so Droplet pilled.
I love Droplet. I think Droplet's a really good card. I mean,
you're describing a scenario where your opponent goes first and also has Droll, and you're able to beat the entire board but for the Droll.
Right, exactly. Which is it happens. I mean, it's
Yeah,
not a non.
it does sometimes happen. I mean,
Yeah. So I don't know. I'm not saying this deck is going to be like meta defining, but it is. The cards are certainly good enough as to where I would not be surprised if people see
I
this deck in tournaments. Like
I
it's certainly going to see play.
I don't think that the cards are good enough for it to be like a pure archetype people play. But I think like I mean, Sword is so good. I think that it may end up somewhere. They do look like cards that like if you can find a home for these are crazy.
Yeah, the thing that like sells me on these cards is the trap cards. Like they're so unbelievable. There's just not cards like these that exist in the game. And I mean, I know that like traps are bad, of course, but I think the rest of the archetype makes up for the fact that the best cards in it are the trap cards.
What are we
Because they
summoning
are
off of
so
the Swords Dance?
the Swords Dance. You can probably just do Flame Swordsman or Fighting Flame, depending on what you have or need. Like you can. I can't remember the text on. I can't remember the text on Swords Dance, but Swords Dance doesn't negate the effects of the monster
No, it doesn't. No.
that summon. Yeah, so you probably just summon the Fighting Flame, and then you use the the Sword Dragon or whatever it's called, the Dragon Fusion.
Yeah.
And then you can equip it, and then it gives another 700. Also, I don't know, like let's not forget about the fact that all of these cards give 700, so your dude is just getting fucking huge. Like I know battle phase and attacking doesn't matter too much, but there are games where it is going to matter. Like that's
I do think GCD is correct here, which is really bleak, which is what would really help this insanely promising TCG archetype?
What's that?
A second wave of quality support.
See, that's the thing though. Like I understand that. Like I understand that we can look at this like cynically, like TCG archetypes are bad and everything. But this feels like the first time in a long time where a TCG archetype on its first wave is playable. Like you can make a deck out of it and go to a tournament and do well.
You are saying that. I listened to you say the exact same sentence about Tistina.
No, that was me. That was wrong. I was like trying to figure something out. Wait, no, for the first wave, I absolutely did not say that for the first wave. The deck was unplayable for the first wave. I only talked about Tistina after the second wave came out.
That's true.
And tried to figure something out there.
Okay.
No.
I don't know. The thing that people don't talk about, and it is so fucking frustrating that this never comes up in conversation about new archetypes, is I think the thing that it feels like it is holding this back is just a lack of names. Like there are like
I will agree with that. I think the deck
there's like 5 of these cards you play like between 1 and 3 of, and it's like that's good. It's a good like repeatable engine, but like that's not a deck. And
there's an argument there because like you play 3 of the quick play, you play 3 of the Fighting Flame, you probably play 3 of the Dragon, you play probably 1 of the big guy that floats, like Mirage Swordsman or whatever it's called.
If any.
I mean, it could be a one of because like it's a dude that floats, and if you already open the level 2 and you want to send something off the level 4, you could send the big guy. But then if you want to send something off the level 4, you would probably send the Fusion Dragon. I don't know. There's an argument for ratios or whatever. But the fact that we're having a discussion about how many of the cards that you play to supplement the game plan already is testament to the fact that like this deck has a game plan. Tistina didn't have a game plan.
That's man, I don't know.
I'm picking the cards up. I'm gonna play it. Like
I think that ultimate. I
haven't been this excited to play a deck in a while.
Yeah, I know you will. You played Tistina, but I think
That's
I think Ultimate Flame Swordsman is really good, obviously.
100%.
But I am also concerned that he is not very good.
I guess I'm confused on.
He's like fine. He's like a good card for sure. But like,
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's like he is certainly he's an interruption that you can make with one card, and he also pushes for lots of damage. He is an interruption.
No
He's an
refunds.
interruption on turn 1, and he's a potential game ender on turn 2. Like I like that. That's good. That's a good place for a card to be.
yeah.
You know,
Thanks for the
certainly
5.
serviceable for a boss monster.
We'll have to think on these. They are very interesting cards, and you know, I don't certainly they don't read to me as like out of the gate busted to shit. But
yeah, I wouldn't say that either. I don't like what people are saying right now, where it's like the deck is bad. Like it's not bad.
I will push back on that a little bit. I think that the deck is bad if you are just playing the deck. Like, if the point of the deck is to set the one trap and make the fusion over and over again, then yeah, it's not like very good. But like in the same way that like Zoo wouldn't be very good. Like I think that it's really just missing something else to do.
But like
sort of
Zoo was
flexibility.
good for that though, right? Like Zoo, back when Zoo was playable, it was like,
yeah, that's what I'm saying.
you
I'm saying
play-
it's bad in the same way Zoo is good. Or Zoo is bad, right? It was like, oh, you know, it's inflexible. It only makes the one guy over and over again. And it's like, that's true.
But that was good. Like that's where I'm coming from, right? Like you think about like this strategy. Like the reason Zoo was good is because it was a consistent engine which made one guy on turn 1, which was Trident, and then on your follow-up turns you made Zeus, and you had.
I'm talking about like
engine, right?
Like 2018 post rat limit Broad Bowl ban Zoo.
Oh, my bad. Okay,
where it was still like clearly the best
Elbit
deck.
Zoo format. Yeah,
it's just the main deck cost seems a little steep for what you get, but if there's like Fighting Flamesword, I keep looking at it's just so good.
I know.
If you get anything out of this, I don't know.
I can send you just like a mock-up of what I have.
I mean,
so you at least get an
it is
idea.
a fire archetype, you know.
That is true. That is true. Here's what I threw together, and ratios are not solid on this. I don't know, but I at least, just to give you an idea of what the space can look like. Here. Hopefully it effing saved it, because Dueling Book is wonderful like that. Hold on. And
Yep. Chad, the thing with like, it seems obvious to be like, yeah, you throw in like Fire King, Diabellstar into this, but like you can't just do that. Like the problem is like
Diabellstar doesn't have too much synergy because there's not a level 1, right?
Well, you know, there's gonna be a level 1 by the time there's any reasonable event. But it's gonna feel like you're going to draw hands that are just these guys, and you're going to go, this deck sucks. Or you're going to draw hands that are just the Fire Kings, and you're going to go, why wasn't I just playing Fire Kings? Oh, hold up. Let me get this in a different tab.
Like,
this is
that's
an image.
a mock-up. This is a mock-up of what it would look like pure, right? Like,
there's no way I'm playing this many traps. You're out of your mind.
I don't know, man. I think they're good. I think the cards are good. You want to open a trap plus the starter, you know? Like, the cards are crazy. And you don't have to play that many. I just was like, well, seeing as how they're non-once per turns, there's not a detriment to playing more of them. You know what I mean? Like, if you're worried that like, oh, well, you're not playing enough turn neutral non-engine, well, you kind of are because you're playing three. How
That
much
is not
non-engine?
my worry with this deck.
Yeah, I don't understand why you would play less of the traps.
Well, to put monsters in.
That's my thing. But like, why? That's like the traps like interrupt your opponent and get you to monsters anyway. You know what I mean? Like you're so consistently the only monster you want is Fighting Flame Swordsman. You get Fighting Flame Swordsman, it's the whole combo that sets up the big guy. The trap cards are all non-once per turns, like crazy non-targeting things, and they extend you further with their graveyard effects anyway. So I don't know. It's just like
No,
this.
now that I
Certainly
see it,
isn't set in
now that I
stone.
see it splayed out in front of me, I think it sucks again.
I don't understand
Fuck
why
you.
you would say that. Okay.
All right, bye.
All right, bye.
All right, I changed my mind. These are terrible. Well, I don't really know how to explain. God, it feels bad. I just don't really have the vocabulary for it. I don't know how to explain why a deck like this is bad. Like, it's too linear, I guess. It is like you're just making the guy twice, right? And if you fail to make the guy, or if your opponent outs the guy, that's it. And they can out the guy through a number of ways, one of which is, like, they have to beat a book. They have to beat Dryden, for sure. But, I don't know. Certainly, I don't understand not playing Nibiru. That's what Salad did in Toss. No, it isn't. Because Salad could, 1, do it infinitely. They could, 2, protect their life points. They were 3, playing against a metagame that did not put up a whole lot of offensive pressure, with one very clear exception. It just feels like you're just making the guy. I think Peeps is like, once you make the guy, you win. And I just don't think that's true. Instead of playing you just play Nibiru, and instead of playing the traps, you just play main deck Floodgates. Do not give Peeps that idea. He'll do it. Okay, next up. New Populace. He's big. Snake Eyes Diabellstar is the name of this card. When an attack is declared involving this card and an opponent's monster, you can place that opponent's monster and this card face up in the spell and trap card zones as continuous spells. If this card is a continuous spell, target a fire monster in your graveyard, place it face up in its owner's spell and trap card zone. Card. He's Kirby. Target cards you control up to the number of sinful spoils that are banished in your graveyard, and cards your opponent controls up to the number of their sinful spoils that are banished in their graveyard. Destroy them. This is going to be kind of rough. If the set card is destroyed or banished by an opponent's activated effect, you can shuffle up to 2 cards on the field into the deck. The Mirror. This card's terrible, right? There's no way to cheat it out. He's just a big 8-star. It is cute, though. Next up. Another one. Goblin Biker Griel Trio. 2+ level 3s. If there are 3 or more Xyz materials attached to monsters on the field, your goblin monsters can attack directly. Oh! Once per turn, if a monster is normal or special summoned while this monster is on the field, target one of them, detach an Xyz material from a monster you on the field, and if you do, change the battle position. Once per turn, when an opponent's monster declares an attack, detach an Xyz material from a monster on the field, and if you do, negate the attack. Another fine goblin rank 3. And Goblin Biker Pileup. Target an Xyz monster you control, special summon a Goblin Xyz from your extra deck using that monster you control as material, and then attach this card to it. Banish this from your graveyard, target a Goblin Xyz and a card in either graveyard. Attach the second target to the first target as material. That's okay. You can do that the first turn. So, like, you fire the trap in standby, and then you just have, like, a called by, which is okay. But these are fine. They're not going to be the difference makers for goblins, but they're fine. And finally, Gear up for the next Gold Pride Grand Prix. Gold Pride Assassinator. You can only use the first and second effects of these cards' name once per turn. It's a level 5 Earth Machine! If your life points are lower than your opponent's free special, you can banish a Gold Pride from your hand, face-up, field, or graveyard that has a level. Special summon a token with the same level, and the token can only be used for Gold Pride summoning. And then we have Gold Pride Annihilator. So what you're supposed to do is use Leon to banish, so you can synchro into Gold Pride Annihilator. During your opponent's turn, target a fusion, synchro, Xyz, or link monster on the field. Destroy it. Okay. Once per turn during the end phase, if this card's first effect was activated this turn, return this card to the extra deck. This was fine. This card was fine. It's okay. Again, not going to be the difference maker for Gold Pride. Also sucks that the Annihilator is dark, so you can't make this an Earth Machine. Not that you could anyway. You got to banish a Gold Pride. I mean, you probably play one. It's certainly better than Nitro Head.
That was wrong.
We making it out of tier 5 with this one. Out of tier 5 and into tier 6. Epic. And that's it, I believe.